Get ready for the dictation. Dictation will start in 5 seconds. Start. Bangladesh is at a historic turning point. Weeks of anti-government protests have toppled its long-serving Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and an interim government has been formed. After Ms. Hasina resigned and fled the country on Monday, huge crowds stormed her official residence in Dhaka amid reports of looting and disorder in the capital. At least 20 people were killed in the violence, adding to the more than 90 deaths on Sunday, which already marked the worst single day casualty figure from any demonstrations in Bangladesh's recent history. Now, Ms. Hasina, a former pro-democracy icon who critics say had become increasingly autocratic during her 15-year reign, is in India. It is not yet clear if she will stay there or head elsewhere. The protests began in early July as peaceful demands from university students to abolish quotas in civil service jobs. A third of these are reserved for relatives of veterans from Bangladesh's war for independence from Pakistan in 1971. The campaigners had argued the system was discriminatory and needed to be overhauled. Although their request was largely met, the protests soon transformed into a wider anti-government movement. It is not just students anymore. It seems that people from all walks of life have joined the protest movement. Dr. Samina Lutfa, assistant professor of sociology in the University of Dhaka, told the BBC last month. As the movement expanded, clashes followed and over 300 people were killed in the unrest. Bangladeshi media and protesters blamed police for the spiraling death toll. The government, though, maintained that officers only ever opened fire out of self-defense or to protect state property. Ms. Hasina repeatedly cut off internet access in parts of the country, imposed a nationwide curfew, and described those demonstrating against her as terrorists seeking to destabilize the nation. But the campaign of civil disobedience that had taken hold showed little signs of abating, and there were growing fears that a prolonged standoff could lead to more bloodshed. Discontent was brewing for a long time in Bangladesh, and the protests didn't happen in a vacuum. Though the South Asian nation, which is home to 170 million people, was one of the fastest growing economies in the world, experts pointed out that growth had not translated into jobs for university graduates. Estimates suggested that around 18 million young Bangladeshis were looking for jobs, and university graduates faced higher rates of unemployment than their less educated peers. Bangladesh had become a powerhouse of ready-to-wear clothing exports. The country sold around $40 billion worth of clothes to the global market. The sector employed more than 4 million people, many of them women. But factory jobs were not sufficient for the aspiring younger generation, and that's partly why they wanted the quotas in government jobs to go, because that meant there would be more jobs for them. If we talk about the future of Bangladesh, it is too early to say what Bangladesh's immediate future holds. Ms. Hasina's long tenure, although contentious, also brought some stability and economic growth. So, amid the hope, there is concern about the political vacuum her sudden resignation has created. Stop.